Hi Scorpio, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. Thank you so much for all of your support. With that said, if you would like to book a personal tarot reading with me, please visit the website address below. And before we start, as always, I would like to bless all of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's have a look, see what the week ahead has in store for you, Scorpio. What are you dealing with this week? What are you going through, working with, or working on? And this week, your destiny card is... Ooh, right, so you got the Tower. Okay, so the interesting thing is, the feeling that I get from the Tower card this week is you are going to have a moment where you need to step back, right? This isn't actually your tower, this is somebody else's tower. Now, the feeling that I get from this, and there's a couple of people that come to mind already, dear ones to me, this tower doesn't pertain to you. It pertains to somebody else, and this is going to be a moment where you really have to step back and step off and let that person deal with it. You can be there to support them. You can be there as a friend to look after them, as a shoulder to cry on, but the event and the dealing with that event has to be done by them. This is a week where you really are going to have to, it's going to be hard for you, right? The Scorpio has a deeply protective element to them. You guys share a ruler with Aries for that reason. And when you think about Mars, yes, it's a soldier, it's a warrior, but it's also a protector, right? And there's something about Scorpio that I see as deeply protective. You're a water sign, so to see somebody else hurting, to see somebody else in pain is really difficult for you because you feel that, right? But this Tower card is not yours. It doesn't relate to you, it doesn't pertain to you. You are going to see something. A good example is if you were stood there and you kind of watched a bar fight happen, not pleasant, but you don't get involved because it's nothing to do with you. Once the dust settles, you can then, are you all right? Are you all right? Okay, cool. We'll get you some help. We'll get you looked after. That's what I mean. You can help with the recon, but the dealing with the situation itself, you have to be hands off this week. And it is going to be tough to watch somebody go through something difficult. So context, the direction card. All right, let's have a look, see. You've had a jumper, and that jumper is the High Priestess. Right, so hidden things revealed, right? There's something coming to light this week around somebody else. So it's weird because although this is your reading, it's talking about a situation that you're going to be a third party in, right? The High Priestess is secrets revealed, hidden things come to light, it's intuition, it's dreams. This is also sudden realization. So I'll talk about that in a second, but for the most part, this is basically saying there is going to be a secret that comes out or erupts in somebody else's life. And your first instinct is going to be to rush in and help. I will save you. No, you won't. This is not your place. Sometimes we need to allow other people to go through their shit so that they can deal with it. And ultimately, so whatever it is that was down there in their own spiky little space can be nurtured and cleansed and brought to the light and finally let go of. I guess what I'm saying to you is this week, do not interrupt somebody else's karma. It's really, really important. One, because you don't want to stain yourself with whatever it is that they need to work through. And two, if you withhold somebody's lesson from them and they miss it, sometimes it could be worse the second or the third time round. Okay? We all know the story of, let's say, a kid who constantly borrows money and their parent constantly bails them out. And then one day they borrow money and the parent says, I haven't got it to pay back. And it turns out that, they owed God forbid, but some, high bloody gangster or whatever, and it gets really, really gnarly. Whereas if they'd said no in the first place, they could have saved a lot of the hassle that comes after. I'm not saying it will be that extreme, but, with the Tower card, it could be anything. There is a secret erupting in somebody else's life this week that you are going to be privy to. It may even be that you already know this secret, but it wasn't yours to divulge. That's you staying in your integrity. That's you staying in that moment where, you know what, I know this, but it's not my place to speak it. And providing, nobody's being physically hurt or abused or anything like that, it's not my place to say. This week that's coming out and you're going to have to hold back. Now, on another level, this is talking about your intuition. The High Priestess is the deep part of you, that very, very psychic part of the Scorpio coming through here in the direction. And the Tower card, because it has links to Uranus, has that real sort of spark of sudden inspiration, sudden realization. I'm going to say this and I'll call it here and now. There will probably be one day out of this week where you jump up out of your sleep very late in the night with an idea that is fully formed, with a realization from your own past. There's something really big coming up as a realization on a personal level, on an interpersonal level or outside level. This pertains to somebody else. So let's have a look at your insight card, right? What is and I always see the insight as the peek behind the scenes. Nine of Cups. So it's the right thing to... So firstly, you did the right thing by not speaking on this person's secrets. Second, your own personal healing, your own personal wish fulfillment is coming, and it will come in the form of a realization. It's almost like you'll have a startling moment where you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh. You know, it's almost like an idea or something is going to be given to you in full, and it will be a download, and it will be something that comes spontaneously and probably very big. Like, it might even be really shocking in the way that it comes through. You might, you might fall asleep one day having a nap on the way home and then jolt up and you're like, oh my god, like fuck me, and then you have to, like, write it down or whatever. The insight card with the Nine of Cups does suggest though that this stuff is happening around you. It's not necessarily happening to you, and ultimately it sees a wonderful wish, a heartfelt wish being fulfilled. This is love, abundance, it's healing. The Nine of Cups is one of the brightest cards in the deck. So it suggests that while this stuff may be heavy, it's not necessarily related to you. And while the intuition that you have, or this idea or realization that you have comes through in a really big way, it will be ultimately extremely beneficial for you. Going to be an interesting week for you guys. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know if it's not too personal how it shapes up. Otherwise, please feel free to email me. So many people do. With that said, I wish you all the good, and I will see you soon.